Pool, also known as pocket billiards, is played on a pool table that's twice as long as it is wide. There are 6 pockets, 4 corner pockets, and 2 side pockets. There are 15 colored and numbered objective balls. There is also 1 white, numberless cue ball. The object of the game is to use your pool stick to hit the cue ball into the objective balls to sink them into the pockets. How to aim the cue ball. To sink the object ball, you have to first picture an imaginary line coming out of this pocket and directly over the object ball. Now, the cue ball has to hit the ball where the imaginary line and the ball meet. This is what we call the ghost ball. And to sink that 9 ball there, you have to hit the 9 ball right where the ghost ball is, no matter where you are on the table. Otherwise, the ball is just not going to go in. So, positioning your cue. Your front hand is known as your bridge hand. The length between your bridge hand and the ball should be about 8 or 9 inches. There are 2 different main types of bridges. There's a closed bridge, which is somewhat like that. I don't like that as much as I use the open grip, such as this. And the most important part about your bridge is that it leaves a good handprint along the table. Otherwise, you're not distributing an even pressure, and you might hit the shot sideways like that. Okay, to make a proper closed bridge, first, karate chop the table. Put your middle finger as far right as you can, or left if you're left-handed. Ring finger forward. Pointer finger closes up on the cue, then your thumb in. So it's like this. Making an open grip is place your hand as you slowly progress your fingers across the table, and then just lift your thumb up to make a nice place for the cue to go through, like this. Now, like golf or baseball, there's no exact proper swing or way to use your pool cue. A lot of it's just on feel, so if you don't like those two, try experimenting around with other types of grips.
The pool cue itself is a line. But imagine the vertical plane of this pool cue. There's actually a surprising number of things that need to be on this vertical plane to be a proper pool shot. One thing that you need is your back foot is right under this vertical line on the ground. Your head is right over the cue. And your back forearm is in this plane too. Imagine this pool cue is on that vertical plane I was talking about earlier. First, you have to put your back foot right under this vertical plane. And then your front foot is 45 degrees out to the right or left, depending on which handedness you are, like so. There are hundreds of different joints in the human body. And if I was talking about golf or baseball, I'd be talking about hundreds of them working in unison. But I'm talking about pool. And there's only one that's used to swing a pool cue properly. It's just the one between your forearm and the other parts of your arm. Right there, the elbow. And all you do for the pool swing is you just move it back and forth. It's the only joint that should be moving on your pool swing. Okay, so now we're going to put it all together, and as you can see, I have the cue ball lined up to the with string, the position of where it should hit the object ball. That's technically the ghost ball right there, and it'll come back to here, and here is an example of the vertical line down the ground. And remember, your foot should be here and here for the proper stance. And now, putting it all together, I just have to put my back foot onto the vertical line, my head is over the line, I have an open bridge, I'm using the pendulum motion to swing the pool cue. An important thing about the pool shot is that when you finish, you follow through, and you don't go up like that, which is very common for beginner players. If you don't follow through like this, the ball probably will not go straight at your target. So, just make sure the cue finishes around here, like this. In a real game of pool, if you want to ever be really good, you have to be able to anticipate where your next shot is going to go. And for a straight shot, there's 3 different outcomes that can happen. The first is a stop shot, which is when you hit the cue ball in the middle and it stops the second it hits that ball. The second is a back shot, which is done by hitting the bottom of the cue ball, and it should spin back after it hits the object ball. The third and final shot is a follow shot, which is done by hitting the top of the cue ball. The reason these shots had different outcomes was because either the ball had top spin, no spin, so it was just being pushed along the table, or back spin, depending on where the ball was hit. So for top spin, hit on the top, so the ball spins like that. For no spin, it's hit in the middle and it just slides along the table. Mind you, it will not do that for the whole table length. So stop shots will only work up close. And backspin, which was caused by hitting the bottom of the cue ball. This is an angled pull shot, which differs from the straight on pull shot, as in it's more common in a game, and the outcome of the cue ball will be different. First, I'm going to show you just the regular old stop shot I showed you before, but this time the ball will go 90 degrees off the 2 ball. The next shot is the backspin shot, or the draw shot, which, like the first shot I showed you there, will start off at 90 degrees, but then it will curve back, like this. Next is the follow shot, which, as you probably guessed already, is going to hit the cue ball and then spin forward, like this. Now I'm going to teach you the game of 8-ball, which is commonly played in bars or people's basements. The only thing that matters when racking or setting up the balls for a 8-ball game is that the 8 ball is in the middle, and you have a stripe and a solid on each side, on each corner of the triangle. Just like every different type of game of pool, the game starts out with a break. Since I sunk a striped ball, now I would get to go again, and I'd be playing as stripes. In 8-ball, there are 2 different ways to foul. One is to hit the ball into the opposition player's ball, which would be a solid. Or 2, sewering the cue ball, which means putting it in a pocket. Now, since I fouled which means I put it in the pocket or I hit the other person's ball, solids will now get ball in hand and can place the ball anywhere in the table to sink their own ball, like this. Okay, so I've sunk all my balls, and I'm just down to the 8-ball. So for the 8-ball, you just have to call your pocket, and if you sink the ball in that pocket, you win. But if you were to say sink the 8-ball into a different pocket, you lose. So it's pretty simple, just like this. 9-ball is more commonly played by professionals and should be racked by increasing number with the 9 in the middle in a diamond-like shape. The goal in 9-ball is to sink the 9-ball. That's how you win. But the catch is, you have to hit the lowest numbered ball on the table first. So, right now it is the 1 ball. So I'm just going to hit that ball, and if I sink it, I get to go again. The foul in 8-ball and 9-ball are the same, the rules are. But to win 9-ball, you don't even have to clear all the other balls on the table. You can just hit a combination shot, which in this case would be 3-9, like so. The other way to win is to sink all of them, and then just sink the 9-ball by itself.